I'm Nicole Elizabeth with What's Brewing. That is the organization I run, and I help kickstart young nonprofits and help them out with their the business side of the nonprofit. We often start nonprofits and think about our mission. Of course, we have these compassionate human beings that want to fulfill their mission, and 2/3 of nonprofits fail. And we really need to change that because it's people like Katie and Perla and Vicky that really drive the goodness in this world. And so Wyld Wynd is there to support them until that foundation is built and they can move on their way. We handle grant writing, creative design, and program management. So that is what I do at Wyld Wynd. I'm going to introduce these lovely ladies. They can let you know their name and who they're representing. And if they have a dog in the area, they can introduce their dog. And then we will talk about the programs that each one of them run. So I will hand it off to Vicky. You're the first person on my left. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vicky Jones. I'm an investigator with the Kings County District Attorney's Office, and I'm also a canine handler to Echo. She is a trauma service dog that we utilize when we interview children that have been exposed to traumatic events. We have a multidisciplinary interview center here where we conduct forensic interviews with children of all ages, and Echo and Perla's dog Diamond both provide comfort and a feeling of safety when they're being interviewed, and so it really helps. These dogs do amazing things for the kids that we work with.
All right, and Perla.
So my name is Perla Trejo. I'm an investigator with the District Attorney's Office. I work with Vicky, and I am Diamond's handler.
All right, and Miss Katie Parker, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Katie Parker. I am head facilitator at the Assistant Service Dog Educational Center in Woodlake, California. We teach high school students from the Woodlake High School how to train service dogs for the mentally, medically, and physically disabled.
So as everybody can see, we have some very compassionate humans here today. Katie and I were connected about 2 years ago to help bring in some extra funds. I was just starting out with Wyld Wynd. She will be taking on some new roles. Assistant Service Dog Educational Center. And she's rolling her eyes at me.
No, sorry.
But she runs a program that is absolutely phenomenal. And I fell in love with Logan, one of their dogs, who was the absolute sweetest, and they just kind of sucked me in. So now every time I get the opportunity to go to Woodlake and to ASDEC, I wholeheartedly take the opportunity. And it's really hard, I will tell you, to be there and try to work at the same time, because these dogs are just magnificent and they are always growing, and you can really see their character move along in their growth and what their strengths are. And Katie does an excellent job, a better job at explaining this than I do, but I'm going to ask Katie to start out, because this is where these dogs, Perla and Vicky's dogs, started at. Am I correct, right?
Yes.
And so Katie's kind of like the starting point, and we want to show you guys how these service dogs are then used. So go ahead, Katie, and explain the program and how you run and who you work with and all of that fantastic stuff. And if anybody has any questions, I am moderating on Facebook Live, and I can ask Katie or Perla or Vicky if you have anything specific to ask one of them. So go ahead, Katie, take it away, and good luck.
Well, thank you for having us, Nicole. This program was founded in 2002 by Donna and Gerald Whitaker with the intention of keeping at-risk youth in school by training them essentially how to teach service dogs. It was just so amazing to see that kids could become such great dog trainers. They learned anger management, parenting skills, and essentially just learned how to be more compassionate. I myself was part of the D litter. So every year we name our litters after the letter of the alphabet. And so my dog Dea was the first service dog I got to train. And it really just changed my whole perspective, because in high school, you're not concerned about others, you're concerned about yourself. And so I fell in love with the program, and I knew that helping people was something I enjoyed. And so now we're almost at our 20-year mark for being active in the community. We've placed over 400 dogs with clients ranging from diabetic alert, seizure alert. We do a lot with veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, autistic support for children. We've worked with the Kings County District Attorney's Office for their trauma support dogs. So it's really grown from a simple idea of helping kids gain some self-confidence. And we've just really established a foundation in the community as a place that really inspires and helps people. So there's a lot of new stuff going on as we progress, and I'm really excited about it. But I've been a part of this program for almost 15 years now, and it's just really touched a lot of lives. And I've been really fortunate to have my life changed through the magic of a service dog.
Katie, what year are we on now?
Right now we have our N litter. So hopefully next year we're going to be getting our O litter.
Okay, all right. And how long do you have these dogs how long do you train them?
So it takes 2 years to train a full service dog. They have to learn a variety of 90 commands. We also have to get them socialized, desensitized, and accustomed to going out in public. So it does take a lot of time to work with this, making sure that when these dogs are put into service, they're a stamp of excellence. We want to show people what a good service dog is meant to be. So 2 years, and then from there, once they are placed with a client, or we find out what kind of client they're going to be working with, we can start specializing their training for diabetic, seizure alert, that kind of stuff.
Excellent. That is so exciting. How do you socialize the dogs? What are the tasks that go along with that?
So exposure is very important. If they're especially going to be going out in public, we need to make sure that they're good with large crowds, cars, new noises, children, other animals, anything that a client would go to, like a movie theater. I know these are pre-COVID days, but at the same time, we want to make sure these dogs are going to be really successful when they are placed with the client and they do day-to-day activities.
Right. So when they meet their potential person, what is that time frame look like? Like what happens when somebody comes and they're like, hey, I need a service dog, and then they come to meet, like get to know their dog and all of that stuff. How does that happen?
So essentially what we've always told people is you don't get to choose your dog. Your dog chooses you. So if people come with a notion that they get to pick out the cutest one, it doesn't work that way. The dog's personality, they tend to foster and find a personality that mirrors theirs.
Right.
Once the dog essentially picks the client, then we do a 2-week boot camp where they learn how to handle the dog. Essentially, imagine a service dog like a remote control car. You give it a command and it follows through with it. But these dogs are highly intelligent. And so if our handlers aren't aware of how to work with the dog consistently, then what you can get is some issues with the dog trying to take advantage of that. So it's really important that our clients are aware of what they need to do, because this is not a child. This is not a pet. This is an extension of themselves, and they need to be consistent so this dog can do its job. And at the end of the 2 weeks, they get to graduate. But we like to expose them to things that they will be doing, like taking them to the mall, taking them to restaurants and things of that nature.
Awesome. Awesome. I did have one other question, and it has completely spaced my mind.
That's okay.
Perla or Vicky, do you guys have anything to add about ASDEC or the program or anything like that?
ASDEC has been amazing for us. When we got connected with them, it was actually our assistant chief that connected us with the school, and it was a journey. It was fun. The whole process, was exciting. The fact that these are the first types of this type of service that a canine is providing in our community has been amazing. But I think Vicky has had more benefit out of it than everybody else, because she does have 3 dogs from ASDEC at her house. So I'll let Vicky talk about that, because that's pretty amazing too.
Awesome. I cannot wait to hear about that. I have a little story to share before or after Vicky speaks. But Katie, I can't believe I forgot my question. I was so excited to ask it. See what these dogs do to me, people? Gosh, you guys are so lucky. I told Katie last week I fell in love with another dog. Sorry, Logan. I was like, I really need this dog because of the way that he looks at me. And she was like, Nicole, you don't actually need a dog. And so I was like, wait a minute. Now I have to figure out a way.
It's kind of hard, because Vicky and I, there are some dogs that Vicky and I are like, we should try to get that one back to our county. But you just fall in love with some, and you just want to bring them all home and give them a job.
Yeah, it's funny thing is that my son is going into the Navy sometime between June and August, and he's teasing me now because he's always told me like, you can't just bring home random dogs or children. Like, Mom, you don't have the capacity for that. And now that he's leaving, he's like, I'm going to come back home and you're going to be the old lady with like 20 dogs and 20 kids. So I'm prepping myself so when he leaves, I can go get some more dogs, and I keep my eye out for these things. All right. All right. So I'm going to does anybody else have? Oh, Macarena asked, who was the dog? I think that was to Perla. Or were you asking me?
I think she's asking you about Rim.
Oh, yeah, because Rim is, he would be the perfect hiking companion. He's got a great name for that. It just melts my heart. If that's the answer that you're looking for. We were having lunch and he was probably looking at me because I had food, but I can't blame him. She said he's hers. Hands off. On a side note, we have this fantastic board at ASDEC, and maybe you can explain a little bit about them and what the board does and their responsibilities and how often they come out and all of that stuff, Katie.
So our board at ASDEC is actually going to be growing soon. We're going to be adding a few new individuals that we really find can help not only benefit our program, but they really establish themselves in the community as people that are compassionate. So as far as our board, we have individuals ranging from retired teachers. We have a couple veterans on our board, and just people that are really excited about taking this program and continuing it. So as of now, we have different kind of individuals where that kind of fell into our laps. Essentially, I know Macarena, she is a psychologist from Chile, and she came here just kind of looking for an opportunity to work with animals. And she ended up being one of the best people I've ever met. And so these people that come into ASDEC, you know, a lot of times they don't know what they're looking for, whether it be a dog or a hobby, but at the end of the day, they leave with this sense of accomplishment, because when you help others, it really just makes you have a whole new perspective on your life. So our board is really important to us, and as we grow, I want to surround ourselves with people that mirror our philosophies and our goals. And so we've been really successful in finding those people that want to work with us.
I agree. I mean, I'm just peas compared to these people, but they are kind of super fantastic.
I agree.
They train. They're there all the time, and as somebody who's in my position where I need to write grants and prove that we have invested people in the community, this board is it. Like, they are there all the time. They're invested. They put on fundraisers in under 6 weeks that are absolutely fantastic. Sometimes I get scared because I'm like, oh, can we do this? And they just blow it out of the water. So thank you, Katie, for bringing me into this, by the way. I can't get over ASDEC enough. But on a side note, on another note, not just the side, Vicky, can you explain Echo and also what Perla was talking about earlier about your 3 dogs?
Yes, so Echo was the second service dog that we got here at the DA's office. Diamond was the first. Diamond has seniority over Echo, and she lets people know because she gets a little jealous when Echo's getting attention. She comes into my office and steals Echo's toys on a daily basis. So a couple times a week, I have to go into Perla's office and gather all of Echo's toys from Diamond's bed, because she kind of tucks them between the wall and her bed to hide them from Echo. But so Echo and Diamond, when we have a case that comes to our office that involves children, whether they were a witness or a victim or any involvement in the case, and if we're going to need to interview them, first we will introduce Diamond or Echo to them, and we give the child the option if they want Diamond or Echo in the room while we're interviewing. And of course, every kid, sees, these beautiful dogs, and of course, I want a dog in there with me. And the dogs will go jump up on the couch and basically lay next to the child while they're being interviewed and just cuddle with them. And you see it where, a kid is very uncomfortable, but as soon as they start petting Diamond or Echo, they relax. You can tell that there's like a sense of calm and safety that comes over them, because these dogs are so comforting and calming. They work really well for all of us here around the office too, because if somebody's having a bad day and Diamond and Echo are like in the area, they recognize that and they'll go to you and just kind of put their head on your knee or whatever, and you can just feel the stress lift off of you while you're petting them. It's really amazing. But Echo was not my introduction to ASDEC. So I have 2 daughters that have type 1 diabetes, and after we got Diamond, our assistant chief and Perla talked to me about how they train diabetic alert dogs. And so I called Gerald one day, and he goes, yeah, come on Saturday. We train on Saturday morning, and you can get a feel for everything. So I took both of my daughters, who at that time were 6 and 15, and I have to think about that. And so I took them there, and we all just fell in love with everything that ASDEC does for people. And it didn't take long for both of my girls to match with their dogs. And these dogs have been nothing but amazing. My 9-year-old, she's in the 3rd grade, and she has not had a true low blood sugar at all this school year. And she's been back in school full time since September because Laser alerts her, and she checks her sugar, and she's not low yet, but he detects it as she's dropping, so that the school nurse is able to give her some juice or something before she goes low. And same thing with Luke and my older daughter. These dogs are just absolutely amazing. We brought Laser and Luke home. It was the first time that I had slept through the night since they were diagnosed, because they will come into our room and pace around our bed to wake us up if they're not able to wake the girls up if their sugar drops while they're sleeping. And the trainers at ASDEC are responsible for this. These dogs have saved my girls' lives over and over again. And I can't thank Katie and Gerald and one of the Wood Lake High School students, Mia. She actually trained Laser, and he is absolutely amazing. And I can't thank her enough for what she's done with him.
Vicky, you're making me cry. Stop it. It just feels so good to hear that. You know, it makes me feel like all this hard work that the kids do and stuff. I mean, when I hear stuff like that, that makes me so happy. I'm so happy for you and your family. Oh, I'm not crying.
Katie, Luke. So Luke, that was her boy, and Luke is absolutely amazing. Also, him and Laser both. They're goofy boys, but it's amazing what they do for the kids. And if you ever have an opportunity to go to ASDEC and volunteer or just observe, excuse me, you'll see what these dogs do for other people. It's absolutely amazing to watch it.
Are you comfortable sharing the little story that you were telling us before we went live this morning? I think it was about Laser.
Laser? Oh, yes. So each dog, they were trained, a certain way to alert, but then they kind of adapt to their person. So what Laser has recently started doing, Canvas is a typical 9-year-old, and if she's playing and he alerts her, she'll just kind of, brush him off sometimes because she doesn't want to stop what she's doing. And recently he has started, he'll put his mouth around her wrist, and he doesn't bite down, but he holds her wrist, and then he'll pull her to wherever her meter's at, so she'll check her blood sugar.
That is pretty amazing. I know from just being there, the whole process of training a dog to detect the different levels of blood sugar, and you don't know until you know how much work goes into that. And the adaptability of these dogs and how they just grow with the families and their person is absolutely fantastic. Are you okay, Katie?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I almost cried. Vicky, you can tell Tammy that Nicole almost cried. Okay.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
I
all
will,
right.
definitely.
Because she tries a lot, and it hasn't happened yet. All right. So, does anybody have any questions for Vicky regarding her dog Echo in the office, or Luke and Laser at home? You guys can put them in the chats. And then, of course, we will put everybody's website and information in the chat afterwards as well. So if you want to reach out to them and ask them any questions, or you can go through me at Nicole at wyldwynd.org, and I can connect you thereafter if you guys are watching this later, because you're not up yet, because it is Saturday morning and some people sleep in. I'm going to ask Perla. I'm leaning towards, this is how I play Mario Kart. I'm leaning towards Perla. Please introduce yourself and your dog and what you do.
Yeah, so I am Diamond's handler, and I've been her handler for a little over 2 years. And somebody asked me the other day, how old is she? I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to be 5 this year. But she has worked with probably a little over 500 kids by now. And we do the forensic interviews. They get to, the way it works is when a dog is utilized for a forensic interview with a kiddo, then whether it's Echo or Diamond, they get to follow that kiddo all through the entire court process if the kiddo ends up having to testify. So, excuse me. So if the kids have to testify, then what they do is they do a court preparation. So the advocates will take the kiddos into the courtroom and show them, this is where the judge sits, this is where you're going to be sitting, kind of an introduction, so it's nothing new to them. So these dogs get to go into the courtroom with them so we can show them as well, this is where they're going to be sitting, and if this happens, then you just let us handle it. So there's no surprises ahead of time. So these dogs are known in our court as well. It's pretty exciting. And then we also work with our child protective services, our social workers. Whenever they have a kiddo, there's one kiddo in specific who is, every time she goes, she requests Diamonds. So we have to go and visit her because they've already made that connection. But we try to make them available for everything within the community. We had back-to-back officer suicides in our county not long ago. And, thankfully we had them. Not to comfort not only the families of the victims, but also our officers. We had an officer say, we never knew we were going to be using her for us. Like, yeah, they're available for everybody, but yeah, we're pretty excited that the DA's office holds the title for the first time of this service in our community. It's a big deal. It really is. And it's you get to see a lot of sad stuff. When people say, oh, you work with child abuse, it is. Yeah, it is. It's sad, yes, but we have tools that make it better, not only for the child, but for us as well. But it's been very exciting. And I think it's a compliment to our dogs and our agency that there's other departments in the county that are going to shadow the same program. So we're pretty excited about that too.
Perla, you had mentioned in one of your previous posts about a book, possibly. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes. So my sister's a social worker, so we have conversations quite often about, bounce ideas off of each other. And one of the ideas that we talk about is a book. Like, how amazing would it be to give these kiddos a book of, because sometimes these kids think that they're the only ones, that this only happened to them. Where if we had a book to let them know you're not alone, there's other kids out there, and kind of like a book to empower these kiddos, not a book for profit, but a book that we can send these kids home with, because we do work with a lot of teenagers, a lot of the kids between 9 and 15 years old. I think is really the age that I want to impact, to just to let them know that you're not alone. You're stronger, you're overcoming, and you have a support system, and that's where my idea is heading, in that direction.
That is fantastic. And I feel like that's another way that you can get them comfortable in the program. Because a lot of times, I used to work I've been a volunteer at school, a substitute teacher, a teacher for first grade. And a lot of times they are scared just about taking that first step. And that really just stunts some of these youth, is understanding that. So, you take them into the courtroom, but even before that, they can see it in a book and they can understand that a little bit better. And now you're reaching out to a multitude of different learning styles which is awesome because some would rather go in there and see the courtroom. Some would rather see the book, and that's how they're going to pick that up. So I can't wait to see what comes of that. I'm absolutely not like I count or anything, but just so proud of everything that you guys do. And honored and flattered that you came on today. I do remember my question, and it goes out to all three of you. Can you tell me one defining moment or one thing that really sticks out to you that made you know that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing?
So if you guys don't mind, I want to try to make you cry now, but so my first service dog I trained, I think I was 14, 15 years old. And we found out before she graduated that she had matched with a little boy that didn't have the use of his hands. So to already have that mentality when you go to high school and you're like, oh, I had a bad hair day. Oh, this girl was catty to me. And then you meet a young man that has this circumstance that he doesn't let him get him down. He rises above it. And so what he did was he ended up using his feet for everything. So he taught himself how to write with his feet. He taught himself how to type with his feet, pick up stuff, and just really changed my whole mentality of what really mattered. And so when I found out that Dea was going to be going to this young boy, I ended up having to teach her to bring everything to my feet, which required, some slobbery training sessions on my toes. But the night that I met this young man, I remember bringing Dea into the schoolhouse, and Tucker, the young boy, came up in his wheelchair, and I dropped a pencil on the ground, and Dea picked it up and put it right between his feet, his toes. And it just, at that moment, I knew, oh my God, like I did this. I'm going to change this young man's life because he has this dog. And it really showed me what a dog was capable of doing, was showing somebody they can have their own independence back. And he was able, he went to college. He just accomplished so much. And I really made me kind of second guess, those important things in life. It's not about what you have or what you look like. It's what you do for people. And that's when I knew that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life, because it made me feel good. And so that's just a little opportunity there just to show you guys why I love doing it. And there's many more, but that was the big one that kind of changed my whole life.
Right. Excellent. You almost got me.
Oh, dang it. Almost.
I try not to ruin my makeup because I have to live with it all day now.
Okay.
Vicky, did you want to share anything? Oh, you're muted, sweetheart. There you go.
So the very first time that I used Echo during an interview, I was a little nervous. It was the first time for both of us being in a real interview. We had done, some mock interview training, but it was a little boy that didn't want to talk. He was very scared, nervous, kind of, suspicious of like me and the whole situation. And he wasn't open to like talking to me. And then Echo, kind of put her nose over by him, and he started petting her. And by the end of the interview, he was talking openly, but he was laying behind Echo, hugging her, but talking and telling me everything that, he needed to tell me, everything I needed to know. And that was when I knew that this was something that I was going to be good at, Echo was going to be good at, and that we made a great team, and it was amazing. And since then, she has helped so many kids that have come through our office that it's been amazing, and I want to do this forever.
I'll be your cheerleader. You guys just, we will work on that, making sure that we have dogs forever for that, because that's absolutely amazing. Monica Connor said, we are very proud of Diamond and Echo. A big shout out to Perla and Vicky for the passion they bring to this work. I don't know if you know who she is, but Perla, what is something that was defining for you to let you know that you are exactly where you needed to be with this?
I think for me, it was, we did a court tour with the little guy with special needs, and he was scheduled to testify. And when we do court tours, the room is empty, the courtroom is empty. And what we typically do is we'll hand the kiddo the leash, and we're standing pretty close, so we'll hand the kiddo the leash. And with this little guy, he was telling Diamond, before we even open the doors to the courtroom, he's telling Diamond that she needs to be brave and that she's going to be okay. So the minute that the court gal opened the door, he's giving Diamond all these, what he's doing is all of the stressors from him, he was telling Diamond, you're going to be okay. This is going to be okay. So we go into the courtroom, and this whole time he's directing her, okay, Diamond, you're going to be fine. And as I'm telling him, you're going to be sitting here and they're going to ask you questions. So everything I was relaying to him, he's relaying to Diamond. So that's when I knew, okay, this is what they're doing, excuse me, because we see it every day. We see them work with kids every single day, but we never know the impact. Like that right there, I thought, okay, he's shifting his stress onto her. So it was very clear what role these guys take on, or these dogs take on, so and the little guy, every now and again, we still get calls from victim witness, say, hey, he wants to see her. It's like, okay, so then we'll head over to victim witness, and this is almost 2 years later. So it's and we can go on and on about stories, but for some reason right then and there, that's when I realized, okay, this is what happens, this is how it works. And it was just an eye-opener for me. But yeah, I would say that was a defining moment for me and Diamond.
That's excellent. I love these stories. I hope that everybody gets to hear these and understand this. And for the people out there who want to donate, we take donations. If you want to give us leashes or leads or help with kennels or dog food, contact us and let us know, or contact Katie or ASDEC. You can find us all over Facebook all of the time. And I know that all three of these women absolutely love to teach with their dogs, about their dogs and their program. So I know that Perla, you have gone out and done some social events with Diamond, back when we could do that. And Katie has partnered with me to go to a grade school to teach the kids there what service dogs are all about. She's excellent with working with kids, which just watching, after being a teacher and watching 90 kids sit down on the ground, and they want to, and you have them all in their rows and they're sitting around Katie, and by the time it's said and done, there's like 6 rows of kids, and one's getting higher, and everybody's quiet, but everybody just wants to get closer to the dog. And who did you have out there that day? Pumpkin and Gordy, right? This is previous.
Probably. Most people don't care about me as kind as your compliments are. It's always about the dogs.
Same here. Nobody knows our name. They know Diamond and Echo.
Exactly. I'm known as Pumpkin's mom. So
Pumpkin's mom. That's hilarious. And so I didn't realize who Vicky was. I knew about Echo, but I didn't know who Vicky was. And Vicky is good friends with somebody I work with, Tammy. And one day at work, when we were in the office, she's talking about the dogs, Luke and Laser. And she goes, oh yeah, my friend has 2 dogs, they're service dogs, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wait a minute. See, now I know the dogs. I pay attention to that. And so it's just a super, super small world. And I just, all for the good. So thank you guys for being on here. And does anybody have any questions for each other? Do you feel like we left anything out? Perla and Vicky, if you want to, after this, put the information in the chat, or you can send it to me and I will put it in the chat so people can follow you and see what you guys do. When we get back to being able to do things in public, we can set some stuff up, and maybe at the schoolhouse, maybe do like a virtual tour or something like that. I think would be kind of fun. But we'll talk to Katie about that later. I'm putting more on her plate.
Well, I was going to say May is going to be our 20th year of being in the community. So I was considering doing something dog related. So I will keep you guys informed. But I kind of wanted to make a big celebration about it because 20 years is a nice start. So let's just hope for another 20 more.
Yeah. Yay! That makes me super happy. All right. Thank you, Vicky and Perla and Katie. You and your work with your dogs is just absolutely amazing. And I'm sorry, I'm so like excited about this. I just, everybody just needs to know about ASDEC. Like they have to know that we exist and that we are United States wide, help veterans. And as a matter of fact, when veterans receive their dogs, we try to make sure that it is a gift to the veterans. So if you ever feel like you want to partner with us in making sure that a veteran receives their dog at no charge to the veteran, please contact us and let us know. We will do our best to make sure that our people are taken care of. When I say people, I mean the dogs. And then people, of course. Anyways, thank you for being on What's Brewing and sharing your program. And ladies, we would love to have you back in a couple of months. We can get an update on the book. We can get an update on everything new with ASDEC. And of course, more, I'm talking to like you're sitting right next to me, Vicky, more stories from Luke and Laser and Echo. And everybody have a blessed and safe rest of your Saturday. And we will talk to you later.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.